So if hashtags have not been working for you at all on Instagram and you just don't understand the point of trying anymore, keep watching. In this video, we're going to break down why your hashtags are not working. The 4 steps that you can take to make sure you're picking the right hashtags that can increase your chances of reaching more people, leading to more likes and more followers. And at the end of the video, I'll share with you the #1 reason why most creators' hashtag strategies completely flop. As always, timestamps are in the description down below because I value your time and you already know why you're here, so let's get into it. Why your hashtags aren't working. Most people will assume that if their hashtags aren't working for them, then the reasonable conclusion is to say,
well, hashtags are dead.
When in reality, it's the expectations that we place on hashtags and the way that we've been trained to use them is what's dead. I mean, yes, there's a lot of reasons why your hashtags might not be working properly, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to figure out which area you could use some improvement on. But first, you need to readjust your expectations of what hashtags actually are used for now in 2024, 2025, and so on. Let's take it back. 2016. Hashtags on Instagram were the only way users could find photos of similar interest or in the same industry or niche. For example, if you're a portrait photographer and want to find other portrait photographers or photos, then your only option was to type hashtag portraits or hashtag portrait photographer in the search bar on Instagram. But it's been 8 years, y'all. The way that we use hashtags have changed. I mean, be honest with yourself. When was the last time that you opened up Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube and typed a hashtag into the search bar? Not lately. Instead, what we're doing is just typing words, phrases, or questions. Even when asking the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri himself, do hashtags help views? This is what he said.
Not really. They do help us to understand what a post is about, which means it might be more likely to show up in a place like a hashtag page, for instance. But in general, no, I wouldn't try to think of hashtags as a way to get more distribution.
So what does that mean? How does our user behavior in the app change how we fit hashtags into our Instagram strategy? What's even the point of using hashtags? Hashtags are a tool that you can use to help categorize your content to the algorithm. When the algorithm better understands how to categorize your content, then it can make sure that your content is seen by the right people. Hashtags are not the solution. They're just a piece of the puzzle that will help support your content. It takes much more than great hashtags to grow on Instagram nowadays. Which brings us to the 4 steps that you can do to pick the right hashtags for your content. Establish your strategy, come up with targeted content ideas, create your content with intention, and optimize hashtags to work in tandem with your posts. I know this might sound a little vague, like the whole pick a niche, provide value, be consistent type of thing, but stay with me here. Let's jump to the whiteboard and break down these steps a little further. So there are 2 ways that you can complete these 4 steps that we're going to be going over. One is the DIY method, so you do it yourself, DIY. It's a little bit more time consuming, but you can do it. You can do it. The other is automation. So using a tool that could help you with all these steps like Slayso. I'll explain both options because some of us might not have a budget to invest in a tool right now. So that would be the DIY method, while some of us do have a budget and we don't really have the time to spend on some of these steps. So then I'll go over the automation side. So just pick the route that best fits your needs. Step 1, establish your strategy. First thing you're going to do is get out a piece of paper and write each of these things down. We have industry, target audience, pain points, solutions to those pain points, 3 to 5 topics, main goal, and services. Services is kind of optional. If you're somebody that offers specific services, you can include this. If you don't have any services right now, just completely ignore it. Let's fill out an example together. Let's say I'm in the travel industry. I'm a little travel bug. And the people that I want to reach, my target audience, dream audience, are solo female travelers, right? So when I'm thinking about this target audience, what is some of their biggest pain points? They're probably going to have a few. So just write down all of their pain points, anything that they're struggling with, write it all down, brain dump everything that you could think of. Just for the sake of this example, I'm just going to write one thing because space on the whiteboard. But let's say this pain point is they want to travel. They want to travel, but they're nervous to do it alone. So let's write that down. And you know what? I thought of another one. Maybe they want to travel and they're nervous to do it alone. Maybe they also want to travel, but they want to save money while doing it. So I'm going to say also they want to save money. Then you're going to brain dump all the solutions to the problems that you've brain dumped. And you could get really specific with this. So if you're somebody who's in the travel space and you could think of specific examples for how to help somebody who's nervous to travel alone, you're like, oh, they could do this. They could plan this. They could look this things like write all the specifics. Obviously, I'm not in the travel industry, so I'm just going to say for the solution, I can share my tips so that they can feel confident when traveling alone. The next thing you're going to brain dump is your 3 to 5 topics that you will be posting about. This is going to help you categorize your hashtags in the future. Most people will refer to these as content pillars. So if you already have your content pillars, just write those down. If you don't, what you could do is read through all of the pain points, read through all the solutions, and see if you could find common themes. For this example, we're going to say my 3 to 5 topics are safety, money/budgeting, traveling light, right? You're alone, so you probably can't bring a bunch of luggage. So how to travel light, find transportation, and my travels. So like my travels, my journey, my stories, etc. Let's write those down. Safety, money budgeting, traveling light. That's not like a light, it's traveling light. Transportation, and my journey, my travels, etc. Your main goal for Instagram, let's say it's growth. And then that was great. And then if you had services, you would list those there. Let's say for this example, I don't have any services. I'm just trying to grow on Instagram. All of this information that you brain dumped is what you're going to use for the next few steps, coming up with content ideas, picking hashtags. So we're going to come back to this. If you want to automate this process and you don't want to journal, you don't want to brain dump, let's jump to the automated option using Sliso. If you're somebody who's been subscribed to my channel for a while now, you know that whenever I talk about hashtags, I also talk about a tool called Hashtag Slayer, who actually recently rebranded and are now slay.so. So literally, if you want, go back to any of my YouTube videos on Instagram hashtags, I'm recommending them. I have always recommended them, even though they have never sponsored any of my videos until today. I used to be against hashtag tools, and quite honestly, I still would not recommend just any old hashtag generator hashtag tool to y'all. The reason that I stand by Slay is because they're the only hashtag tool out there that believes hashtags aren't the make it or break it thing. They are not claiming like, oh, once you figure out hashtags, you're gonna blow up. Like, no, just go to their Instagram page, go to their website. They're constantly educating content creators how to create an all-encompassing Instagram strategy that capitalizes on keywords, SEO, but without the keywords SEO part being super intimidating. As you've already learned from this video, hashtags are not the make it or break it tool. They just help support your current Instagram strategy. That's why I love Sliso, because they teach you the Instagram strategy that will then help set you up for success when you start using hashtags. So let's go over step 1, establishing your strategy. First, you're going to need to create an account, right? And while you create your account, you could use the code Millie to get your first month free. When you sign in, you're giving Sliso all of your information about you, your business, you as a content creator, industry, target audience, if you offer a service. Basically everything that we went over on the DIY method, you are filling out for them. You are also going to connect to your current Instagram account or the Instagram account that you will be using your strategy on, because what's really cool is they will scan your account and use the information from your account to help pick out hashtags for you specifically, because some hashtags might work better for you when you're under 1,000 followers or over 1,000 followers. So all of that information is important to the hashtag strategy and they will automate it for you. So connect to your Instagram, they'll scan it for all the important information that they need, and it'll give you better results for your overall strategy. Once your account is created, you can also fine tune your strategy within your account a little bit more. So you could plug in things like brand values, your brand voice, your content pillars, other topics that you talk about, etc. All of this information is so important to plug in so that their AI can help you come up with content ideas and prompts that are in alignment with the information you're feeding it, which is going to lead us to Step 2, coming up with targeted content ideas. For the DIY method, you're going to circle keywords from the information that you wrote down and brain dumped, specifically words or phrases that you think your target audience would search for on a search engine, or even words in general that you think would capture their attention when they're scrolling on Instagram. Doing this together, obviously my target audience, they're going to be attracted to travel. They'll probably be attracted to like solo female travel. They're probably going to resonate with being nervous, saving money, feeling confident traveling alone, just like that in general, or even just feeling confident traveling. All of these things, safety, money, traveling light, finding transportation that might not be too captivating, but we'll test that. Probably won't be too much attracted to that, but those are all good. Then what you're going to do is turn these circled words, underlined words, into a brain dump of content ideas that you think will resonate with that target audience. So what I did is I took the circled words that we had over here, moved them this way. So we have travel, solo female, nervous, save money, confidence, safety. There's a few more, but the list would have gotten down there too long. And then I used all of these words when coming up with my content ideas. So we have 3 things that helped me feel safe as a solo female traveler. This one touches on safety, solo female traveler. So it touches on a few of these. Want to travel, but nervous to do it alone. That's a good hook. Touches on the nervous, touches on travel. Maybe it even helps them feel confident after watching that video. How to save $5,000 when traveling alone. So this is about saving money, and what you need to know when traveling alone for the first time. Again, that's something that could help build confidence. Travel, solo female. So I'm using those words to come up with really good caption ideas, which I'm sure you're like, how does this have anything to do with hashtags? It will. It does. It's important. Follow me along for the ride. If you've learned something so far, I'd love if you took a moment to give this video a thumbs up. This is going to tell YouTube that the video is helpful, and hopefully it'll help more people like you find this information a little bit easier. And if you've learned 2 new things and you're not already subscribed to my channel, then hug the subscribe button, because it's a simple way to support my business and helps me be able to continue to create free content like this for you. Now, if this is overwhelming or it feels like a lot of work, there is the automation option. When using Slayso, based on the information you filled out in step 1, so target audience, industry, etc., Slay's AI will generate a list of content ideas for you. So they are doing the keyword research for you. You don't have to do it. They've already identified those searchable words and put them into content ideas based on your Instagram account. Some ideas that their AI generated for me is an educational carousel for how to boost your content creation, a reel talking about fixing common content creation mistakes, another reel you could see here, it says reach. That means like the goal that I selected for increasing reach. It could be a bloopers, or even for a story, educational story, Instagram giveaway. So the one that feels most in alignment for me, and right now I'm just looking at like the main text, is boost your content creation with these 5 social media tips. I feel like this is good for, it kind of touches on content creation, which is something I talk about. Social media tips, those are the words that I would circle for my personal brand. Those are searchable words for my audience. And now I want to work on a caption, which we'll go over in the next step. Of course, with any AI, you're going to use these suggestions as an inspiration launchpad. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, wow, copy paste, because that's when we all start sounding like robots and you're not really able to stand out that way. So instead, you're going to read through all of those ideas, which you can refresh at any time in your account. Pick one that sparks inspiration for you, and for step 3, we're going to write out the captions and plug in our keywords a little bit everywhere. When I say create your content with intention, what I mean is you're using these keywords that you've circled every single step of the way. Remember, These steps that we're talking about for this video, they're not necessarily to teach you how to make a viral reel or viral content. That's what this YouTube video is for. This step is part of your hashtag strategy. For your hashtags to support your content and work together, you need to also have a powerhouse combination of keywords sprinkled into your account and sprinkled in everywhere. So where do you put all of these keywords? You're going to put all of these keywords into these places: your nameplate, which is the bold part of your Instagram bio, your regular Instagram bio, caption, reels audio. When you're recording a reel, it's what you say, pop-up text, so the text that pops up during the reel, or even if you're making carousels, the graphics, the text that you use in those graphics. So all of those words that you circled, you want to put them kind of everywhere on your profile. Now, I could spend the rest of this video talking about a strategy for each of these areas, but we're not gonna be focusing on that today. We're talking about overall hashtag strategy. So if you want a breakdown of like, okay, well, how do I do that? I actually have a full video that discusses Instagram SEO and keywords. I make it so easy, a caveman could do it. So if you're somebody who's been intimidated by SEO in the past, that video, this video right here, created just for you. Now, of course, there is the automation way. So the one that I want to write is boost your content creation with these 5 social media tips. I'm gonna select write, and it's going to generate my caption. Again, it's scanning all the information that I plugged into it about me, my business, and writing a caption that I'm going to use as a creative launchpad. The caption that it wrote for me has a bunch of keywords in it. So let's just scan. You could see social media tips, transform your online presence, stand out, connect with your audience, art of engagement, social media success. So there's a bunch of keywords here. Of course, it doesn't sound exactly like my brand voice. So real quickly, I'm going to edit it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll down, or I'm going to press edit, scroll down, and then make some adjustments. So I'm going to actually give it some suggestions like, hey, actually, can you rewrite it with this advice? Select rewrite, and the caption that it's going to generate for me will change. At any time, you can go into your account and refresh ideas, so it's generating more ideas for you, and if you see one that you like, you could save it for later. Step 4, optimizing hashtags to work in tandem with your post. Now, you need hashtags to go with your captions, with your post, with what you're creating. So how do you pick the right hashtags to go with the post that you're creating for that day? I'm going to give you 3 starting points that you can take and run with. These are the 3 starting points that you could take with and run. So when you're picking hashtags for a post, you should pick hashtags that describe these 3 things. The hashtags could describe the visual elements of the post. So if I post a picture of me in Palm Springs, for example, I would use the hashtag Palm Springs or hashtag palm trees, because that's what you can see in that content. Then hashtags to describe the topic of that content. So while the visual is me in Palm Springs, maybe the caption of that post is saying 5 ways to grow on Instagram, right? So the topic of that post would be hashtag Instagram growth, hashtag Instagram strategy. So the topic of the post. And then finally, your profile, you, who you are. So me, hashtag Instagram coach, hashtag content creator, hashtag da-da-da-da-da. So those are the 3 things that your hashtags should be describing every single time you post. Your hashtags need to be relevant to the post for that day. You don't want to be using the same hashtags over and over and over if it's not relevant to the post that you're creating. Now, if coming up with hashtags for these 3 things are hard for you to do when you're posting, then you know what I'm going to say. You can absolutely use an automation tool. Now we're picking hashtags. The great thing about Slice's system is that you don't have to do the hashtag research at all. By scanning your Instagram and reading the caption that you have typed in there, Sliso does all of the hashtag research for you just in an instant. Once you enter your caption, you'll get the right hashtags for your post without any effort at all. In our last step, we picked their idea suggestion. We rewrote the caption so that it was in our words, and then we pressed save caption. So now Slay is searching and comparing hashtags based off of the information that the caption has in it. Once it's done, as you can see on the bottom here, it has all of the hashtags already picked for us. So hashtag online creativity, hashtag social media tips, hashtag social media creativity, etc. Now, when you have a new caption that you're writing, I'm gonna go here to hashtags. I'm gonna write my caption, so 5 tips for growing on YouTube. Get your first 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to write my caption here. And then based off of the caption that I'm entering and all of the keywords, all the things, I'm gonna press generate. It's gonna scan, connecting AI, and voila, scroll down to the bottom. You see that the hashtags are different this time because it changed based off the caption. We have hashtag keyword strategy, hashtag YouTube strategy, hashtag marketing tips. So the captions or the hashtags changed based off of the caption that I plugged in. Now, if you want to do more hashtag research, that's something you could absolutely do. Just go to collections. Slay has a bunch of collections already created for you. So they have a library section that you could search for hashtags based off of specific topics. So social media manager, digital manager, content creator. I'm going to open this one up. And as you could see, they already have a list of hashtags and it'll tell you how competitive that hashtag is, from low, easy to rank in, to high, might be a little bit harder to rank in. Just another tool to show you while we're here is you can search for competitors. So if I want to see what hashtags Gary Vee is using, I'm going to plug in Gary Vee, analyze competitor, and hashtag Slayer or Slayso is going to generate the hashtags that Gary Vee uses and show me which ones I could potentially rank for based off of my specific account. So all of the work that we did in the DIY method, Slayso's actually doing for you. If on your profile you selected your goal is growth, it's going to seek out hashtags that could help you with growth. We said that we're going to pick hashtags based off of visuals, topic, and your profile. That's why you connect your Instagram profile to Slayso so that it can scan your account and pull those things a little bit easier. What's the number one reason why so many people's hashtag strategies flop? Even if their expectations are set properly and they follow these steps, the reason is their content probably sucks. I said it. Let me explain. You have a post. You use hashtags on the post. You post the post. And the post doesn't do well. You make a new post. You use hashtags. This time the post does do well. You see higher engagement, the reach goes up. Most people's immediate thoughts sometimes are, wow, I must have used the right hashtags for my post to perform well. I'm gonna use those hashtags every single time now. When in reality, what happened was your content over here was performing well on its own first. And because it was performing well and standing on its own, then Instagram suggested it to more places like the hashtag page or search and explore. Your content didn't get improved reach because of the hashtags that you used. What caused the post to do well in hashtags was the fact that you had a good post in the first place. Same thing over here. When this post didn't perform well, it wasn't because you used the wrong hashtags. It's probably because it wasn't a good post. It wasn't resonating well with your audience. You need to first fix your content before trying to fix your hashtags. To put all your success or failure onto the weight of the shoulders of, oh, it's because of the hashtags, is just an outdated approach, outdated strategy, outdated mindset. Instead of thinking this posted well or not because of hashtags, you want to ask yourself, how could you improve the content and the quality of your content? You're welcome. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, be sure to include the secret emoji in your comment below. And if you have more questions like how many hashtags should you use? Should hashtags be in the caption or the comments? Or should you be paying attention to how many people have used a particular hashtag? Watch this video next where I break down Instagram hashtags even more. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Follow your joy. Bye.